like everyone, I'm just wondering just how long has Keir Starmer actually got left? Because let's face it, he has become, if not the worst, one of the most worst Prime Ministers in our lifetime, I'm sure. I personally think he is the worst, closely followed by Theresa May. To be honest, at the time I thought it would be very, very, very hard to beat. But of course, Keir Starmer appeared to come along and say, hold my beer, and kinda blew all previous records out of the water. But unfortunately for him, he's just got some, shall we say, devastating news from someone who's actually quite important, especially where voters are concerned. But just what am I going on about then? Well, according to this article, it says that Pollster John Curtice issues a devastating warning for Keir Starmer on U-turn. But why should he be concerned about that? I mean, there's polls all over the place, isn't there? Well, John Curtice, he is a very, very good and accurate pollster when it comes to voters, from what I'm aware anyway, and therefore Keir Starmer should, if he's got any sense at all, realise that and, let's face it, do a whole U-turn on his whole government, along with, of course, this nasty, in my opinion, Brexit surrender deal that he's trying to do with the EU. You know, giving up our sovereignty for basically sweet FA in return. But anyway, it says Keir Starmer has been warned his winter fuel payments U-turn may not be enough to win back voters. And Poland expert Professor Sir John Curtice said doubts have crept in among Labour MPs over whether he is the right person to lead the party. Well, let's face it, I'm pretty sure someone like Big Bird or Orville the Duck could do a much better job. The Prime Minister announced last week there'd be a climb down over the axing of winter fuel payments for most pensioners, which was widely blamed for Labour's plummeting in the local elections. And Professor Curtice said these things stick in the memory, so you can change policy now and you can probably reduce the damage, but it's difficult to erase some people's memory. And unfortunately for us, but quite fortunately for Keir Starmer, he has got one massive card at his advantage here, and that is the card of time, because we have got, unfortunately, another, as things stand at the moment, another 4.5 years before the next general election in whatever time, 2029. And therefore, if he somehow pulls a miracle and actually starts doing things, shall we say, the correct way, then who knows, some people might even, let's just say, forget about his early mistakes in government, as I'm sure they will be then regarded as. If, of course, he doesn't continue effing things up in the meantime, which personally, you know, I kind of think he will do. But this comes apparently after Angela Rayner announced yesterday she wants to never be Prime Minister or leader of the Labour Party, which, to be honest, that has actually surprised me. I'm pretty sure, you know, what as a nickname, Miss Basic Instinct Legs or the Ginger Growler, whatever you want to call her, I'm pretty sure that she more than likely would love to lead the party and be Labour's first female Prime Minister. So it kind of strikes me as weird that she's saying she doesn't. Presumably she might be a tiny bit worried that Keir Starmer might find out about all this and do his very best to kick her out of the party somehow, because as far as I'm aware, being the Deputy Prime Minister, he can't actually fire her from that, something which I'm guessing he probably would love to do, although admittedly I could be wrong. Although, you know, let's face it, she could always say, oh, change my mind, I now want to be the Prime Minister or future Prime Minister or whatever you want to call her. Like what Nigel Farage kind of did when he said he didn't actually want to go back into mainstream politics or something like that, he said, and then basically said he changed his mind, and good job too. I really do hope that Nigel is our next Prime Minister in 2029, or even sooner if preferably, because then he could undo this stupid EU reset, which is going to take away all our sovereignty all over again. But Sir John said questions over his leadership reflect the nervousness that has now got into the Labour Party about Starmer and the character of his government, and certainly the party's standing in the polls. He even told The Independent, which I'm pretty sure is a lefty newspaper, that the authority of Prime Ministers rests very heavily on there being thought to be a winner for the party. The problem that Starmer now has its doubts that have crept into the Labour Party's minds as to whether or not he is going to be a winner in 2029. And all this comes apparently as the Prime Minister is set to be considering changes to welfare cuts planned by the government and amid a threat of a Labour rebellion. Well, personally, I think He is on kind of a sinking ship, the Labour version of the Titanic, surely. But whether he likes it or not, he's kind of hit the iceberg already, and that is what I think John Curtice has basically told him.